Can't you say that?
All right, if you all will look up at the monitor, you will see that this is the Spalding County State Court. My name is Josh Thacker, I'm your judge, and this is the bonded trials calendar call. I want to start out by saying that here in the Spalding County State Court, we believe that each of you, as you interact with this court, deserve the respect and the dignity that you wish for someone you care about. We will extend that to each and every one of you as we interact with you all here today. Hey, please don't talk during court. Our goal is to move your case forward efficiently, hopefully return you to your lives quickly. And I can't do that if y'all are having sidebar conversations, and frankly, I won't have much patience for it. All right, I do have several virtual people today. If you're here virtual and you received permission to do so, go ahead right now and get a pen and a piece of paper to write down the information I will give you about your case. Wait for me to speak with you. You will not be able to unmute yourself until I tell you to, and please turn off your camera while you're waiting. All right, cell phones. Everybody here in the courtroom, go ahead and grab those cell phones out of your pockets and purses and wherever you stash them. Pull them out and turn them off. Go ahead and do that now. All right, no movement. All right, so here's the deal. Somebody's phone's going to ring this morning. It happens every day. And when your phone rings, that means that you want to volunteer for a contempt hearing because you didn't follow my directions to turn it off. So I'll let you imagine what will happen next, but I will take contempt and carry it for 20 days in the Spalding County Jail. I'll let you take your imagination from there. All right, this is the correct courtroom for you if you're arrested here in Spalding County for a misdemeanor. You appeared or waived your arraignment date and requested a trial. If this sounds incorrect, step out to the hallway, show the bailiff your paperwork. They will review it and point you in the right direction. Today is what's called the calendar call. I'm going to go over your rights with you. I'm going to tell you what your options are, and then you or your attorney is going to tell me what to do with your case. You may have a trial. There are two types of trials. There's a jury trial where 6 jurors sit in that box over there to your left to issue a decision on your case. And then there's a bench trial, and that's where you give me the ability to make the decision with no jury present. You may have a conference with the solicitor's office if you're representing yourself, and then you can ask me about an attorney if you don't have one, and we can have that discussion. Ms. Karen is here from our Veterans and Mental Health Court, also known as our Accountability Court. So if you are a member of our military or a military veteran, or you have a mental health diagnosis, and you want your case dismissed, if you're representing yourself, speak with Ms. Karen. She'll help you understand how our Accountability Court works and help you figure out if you're a candidate. If you miss the chance to talk to her and you're representing yourself, just ask for a conference, talk to the solicitor's office, they'll answer your questions. And then lastly, if you have an attorney, just talk with your attorney. They're very familiar with our program. Now, everybody in here's charges are misdemeanors. The average misdemeanor carries a maximum punishment of 12 months to serve in Spalding County Jail and or a $1,000 fine. A few minor traffic charges have a lower maximum fine, like seatbelt, and a few high and aggravated misdemeanors have up to a $5,000 maximum fine. Now, each of you here have the right to a speedy and public jury trial, where 6 citizens of Spalding County decide guilt or innocence on each of your charges. Again, you can also choose bench trial. That's where I make the decision with no jury present. You can waive your right to a trial and close your case with a plea if you choose. I have no preference. You must knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently choose for yourself. You have the right to be presumed innocent. You have the right to force the state to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, to cross-examine the state's witnesses. You have the right to subpoena your own evidence to court, to testify or not testify, to not incriminate yourself. And if you remain silent, I will not allow that silence to be held against you. You still have the right to have an attorney. You may hire your own if you so choose, and there's several qualified private attorneys you can talk to that are here in the jury box. However, if you cannot afford an attorney, then you should have applied like I asked you to in the courtroom at your arraignment date with the Public Defender's Office. I warned you on that day that if you did not take action ASAP to secure the Public Defender's Office, you would very likely hear me say that you have waived the right to apply with their services. However, if you do want to have that conversation this morning, we certainly can, and we'll explore that question. All right, now, an attorney would help you understand our criminal justice system, would explain what your charges are and what the defenses are to those charges, file motions on your behalf, engage in plea negotiations, Subpoena witnesses and evidence for your defense. Conduct a trial on your behalf and make objections. Protect your record, appeal conviction, and just otherwise work to protect you. All right, first offender and conditional discharge. It is my responsibility to explain these to you all, and here's how they work. Each of these allow you to enter a guilty plea without being convicted. However, you only get one of each for your entire life. So, first offender is for everything but traffic-related charges, so no DUIs. And conditional discharge is for drug-related offenses only. Okay, nolo contendere and traffic charges. So we call this a nolo plea for short. You've probably heard that term somewhere in your life. It's where you enter a guilty plea without admitting guilt on traffic charges, no DUIs. You get one nolo every 5 years, and that's measured from the incident date to the incident date, ticket date to ticket date. The nolo will usually prevent points. It will usually save your license. It won't help you much if you're under 21. All right, if you are here today and you are not a U.S. citizen, you need to know that any conviction will very likely have a negative impact on your immigration status. All right, family violence charges. Several of you on this calendar are charged with family violence charges. You will know that because it says it on the title of your charge. If that is you, and if you are convicted of those family violence charges, you need to know that you will lose your Georgia weapons carry permit, and federal law will step in and say that you may never again possess a firearm or ammunition. All right, habeas corpus. Weird old law, but it's my job to explain it to you. And so here goes. If you're convicted of these charges, by any means, plea trial doesn't matter. You may sue Spalding County civilly over in Superior Court to challenge this conviction. Like I said, weird old law. All the traffic charges have a 6-month window to use your rights before they expire. Everything else in this courtroom has a 12-month window. All right, you make conference with the solicitor's office. If you are representing yourself and you want to talk to the solicitor's office and try to resolve your case, then just announce conference when your name is called. You'll remain here in the courtroom, and they'll call you in a little bit. Just remember, the solicitor's office, this group over here to your left, they represent the state of Georgia. They are not your attorney. If you reach an agreement with them, you can resolve your case. If you do not reach an agreement with them, then you must return to this courtroom for me to personally give you your next set of instructions that include signing the verdict form. Attorneys, as always, y'all don't need to come see me. Just work that out with the solicitor's office, get your paperwork signed. Okay, you need to know that if you do end up receiving probation in this court, you'll be supervised by the Spalding County Sentence Enforcement Team. There's a one-time $25 intake fee per case. 100% of all fines can be worked off with community service work. And then additionally, there's a $50 per month supervision fee each month until you complete your probation. This supervision fee is mandatory, but it can be waived after a separate hearing before me. All right, this is a 2-week trial calendar. All the trials are together on this 2-week trial calendar. This is your calendar call here in week 1. Then we'll skip a week in the middle where we all prepare for trial. And then week 2, jury trial, bench trials will begin Monday, March 18th at 9 a.m. sharp. You'll appear each and every day until your case is resolved. And we will use at least 2 courtrooms during the trial week, so we will reach your case for trial. All right, you want to help your friends and family, and this actually has already worked this week. So we are still a small enough community where everybody knows somebody who knows everybody. So if you recognize the name of someone who is missing today, call them, tell them to get down here ASAP, and you will definitely save them a great deal of future trouble. All right, pretrial motions. So you must let me know if there are any outstanding pretrial motions, speedy trial demands, or anything that factors into the scheduling of your case for trial. Failure to give me this information will result in waiver. Bench warrants result in waiver. All matters must be heard on the first calendar, or they are waived unless I preserve it in open court on the record. All right, I've given this slide all kinds of titles, but I just decided to go with this as important because this is important. So here we go. If you announce from out there that you want a jury trial or bench trial, you need to know that you are communicating to me that you do not want a conference. You do not want an attorney. You do not want a continuance. You do not want to enter a negotiated plea. You do not have any motions to be heard, and you're ready for trial. This is the whole point of calendar call, is to explore these options, and I will not explore them when I have a jury standing outside those double doors ready to come in and try your case. All right, so I'm about to call the calendar. When you hear your name called, stand up. If you're represented by an attorney, which a whole lot of you are today, remain silent and let your attorney announce for you. That's what you brought them here to do. If you are representing yourself, then you will announce very loudly with one of the following. And I'll leave this up on the wall, of course. So you'll stand up if you're representing yourself and say jury trial, or bench trial, or conference, or attorney. And then, of course, are there any motions? All right, we've already confirmed there's nobody in the jail.
Nobody's in jail.
Any housekeeping?
That's right.
Mr. Malloy, any housekeeping?
No, Your Honor.
All right, let's jump in. All right, so number one on today's calendar, and I'm aware that several of you are on other calendars. We'll sort that through at the end. Don't panic if you don't hear your name. Jerry Bowles. Dutton.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Bowles, sit tight. I think your attorney has a conflict. We'll circle back to it. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to put it in for a conference. All right, Anthony Carter.
Conference, Your Honor.
All right.
There's a second case, Judge, Mr. Carter.
I'm ready.
It's 22 SR 1690.
22 SR 1690.
That's a criminal trespass in the Family Violence Act and disorderly conduct.
Okay, so I'm officially, as of this moment, adding that case to this calendar. Y'all let me know if you need anything different, because that way they'll move forward together. All right, Nikithia Carter.
That's Mr. Kendall's case. He had a conflict this morning. He was just going to bring her in tomorrow morning.
That sounds great.
Take a look at his case.
All right, so we'll mark that as 3-7. Right, back to you, Mr. Malloy. Tanisha Davis.
Conference, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mary Dennis.
Here.
All right,
Conference, Your Honor.
thank you. DeMorris Dennis. DeMorris Dennis. Actually, let me look at my, I just realized I'm not watching my virtual people. Okay, we're good so far. So,
That's for a bond forfeiture and bench warrant.
good. All right, Mr. Smiley, over to you. Jose Espinoza.
Yes, Judge. Good morning. Mr. Espinoza's here. Judge, I believe we're going to resolve that with a negotiated plea this morning, but I do need to speak to Mr. Shepard about a couple of details.
That sounds great. Happy to let you do that. All right, Shelley Fields.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna put you down for a conference. Your attorney will be here just a bit. All right, is it Darren Fletcher? Darren Fletcher? No?
That's for a bond forfeiture and bench warrant.
Good. All right, Benny Harper?
Conference, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Hawkins is virtual.
Yes, Your Honor, that's ours.
That's yours?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna get his number and then.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hawkins, I just sent you an unmute request. If you'll approve that, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
May I have a phone number for us to reach you?
It's 240-374-3367.
All right, you gave me 240-374-3367. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Hawkins, I don't need you to sit here on the virtual system. You have an attorney here in the courtroom, and they're gonna go do conferences. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna release you from the video conference system, but not from court. So you're just gonna sit tight, keep your phone handy, make sure the ringer's on, and your attorneys will call you and give you the next set of instructions in a little bit.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, Patricia Hickok.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mandeli sent an email this morning. He is in Henry Superior. He said it was a bond hearing and then he'd be down here to send his status.
Okay, just put it up for a conference. All right, Ms. Hickok, just wait tight. All right, Mr. Hutchinson, over to you. Johnny Hill.
All right, I expect that's going to be a plea, but I need to talk conference.
That's right. Michaela Hood. All right, just sit tight. I'm already putting Mr. Dutton's cases down for a conference. All right, Ms. Clark. Victoria Hornsby.
Excuse me, I think that's gonna be across fits this week.
Okay.
Yes, I think that was.
Who's the, that's all right. Somebody will tell me who the other one is. We don't have it. I think it's
Our client is not here.
okay.
That would be Fletcher. Is that right?
That's the one who's supposed to be here.
Yes.
Darren Fletcher.
Wasn't he supposed to be here?
Yes.
Yes.
We expected him to be here.
We've dealt with this before. We came up with a solution. I don't remember. We'll talk. We had a solution.
I think Ms. Hornsby's case should be dismissed and Mr. Fletcher.
We did something.
We just
weird.
agreed with that
We-
assessment.
I know, we did something where I think what we did was we put your clients, let's talk off record later, we did something that worked, I can't remember what it
Yeah, I'm
was.
trying to remember which calendar that was on.
Okay, we'll come back. We'll talk off record and figure that out. Tina Lewis.
That's for bond forfeiture and benchmark.
Brandon.
That
Brandon
is our
Louder.
case, Judge.
Yeah, y'all let me know anytime.
Yes, sir.
Brandon Loudermilk. Conference. Thank you. Patricia Love.
Conference.
Thank you. Benjamin Reese.
That's for bond forfeiture and benchmark.
Good. Jada Rivers. Oh, good morning. Instrom, okay, thank you, sit tight. All right, back to you, Mr. Hutchison. Jeremy Salter.
Your Honor, that's gonna be a pretrial. We filled out the paperwork, just waiting for probation.
Okay. They usually get here, somewhere in the ballpark of 9:30. Yeah. I told them to stop getting here at 9 because they didn't have anything to do for the first 5 minutes.
Yes, sir.
All right, Brandon Sims.
Pop it, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, we resolved Smith yesterday with Mr. Burrell, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Kurt Swalen, and Mr. Powell. I'm just gonna put it down for a conference, just to have a seat.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got a conflict, there's a stack of them on my desk. All right, Mr. Joyner, Michael, Demarquia?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Shepherd and I briefly conferenced that case. Right now, we can announce ready.
Okay. All right, and, is that a jury trial or bench trial?
Judge, we were discussing, it is a possibility of a bench trial. We would like to discuss a little bit further to see.
Okay, just let me know and,
We'll just set it down for a jury trial as of right now. We just do that and me and Mr. Joyner can talk
Okay.
in the coming weeks.
All right, well then, if you're gonna go straight to jury trial, I don't need you to stick around. So, I will see you and your client back here on the 18th at 9 a.m. And if you all reach an agreement between here and there, you can walk him in next week while we're having another court. And we've even done those virtual, so just continue speaking with the sisters.
Thank you, Your Honor. May we be excused?
Yes, great to see you. You're excused. We'll see you the 18th at 9 a.m. You can have your client come. All right, Jonas, Warnock? No?
Yeah, we didn't really anticipate him being here, Judge. If you'll recall, that case, Mr. Warnock was originally in DFAC's custody,
Do you not have?
and he's been all over. We've kicked it down the road several times trying to get him here, so we're just gonna ask for a bond forfeiture and bench warrant now.
Don't remember this, I'm so sorry.
So if they find him, we'll be glad to work with him on it.
I think defects had custody of.
Yeah, but he's aged out now. Oh,
We lost him. How about this? How about I just issue the warrant, but we all agree that y'all will remind me that we'll either put it on the very next jail calendar as soon as we get it, or obviously discuss resetting it, depending on how confident we are that once we find him, that we'll be able to get him to come back. So, okay. Y'all just remind me of that when we get him. Chandra Watson? No?
that's for bond forfeiture and bench warrant.
Really? Okay, virtually, I have Attorney West and Ms. Cobb, that's the plea, I believe that's worked out. I've got the right sheet, they emailed the right sheet back,
Okay.
but I assume you need to have a conference to sort out the details.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. West, I sent you an unmute request, if you'll approve that, please. That was yesterday's calendar. Hello, Ms. West,
It was Monday's,
Monday's calendar.
bottom of the page.
That's good. All right, Mr. West, do you, does Mr. Shepherd have a good phone number to call you? If not, will you give that to Mr. Shepherd?
Give him one if you.
Yeah, he's ready.
Okay, you can call me at 770-422-2844.
All right, Mr. West, give me about 15, 20 minutes. I'll give you a call.
All right, and that was 770-422.
That'll be fine. I'll just be on standby.
All right, now 770-422-2844? Or did I get that wrong?
That's correct.
Okay, you and your client may both remove yourselves from the virtual system. There's no sense in y'all sitting there looking at me while I look at you. Once you talk to Mr. Shepherd, you can gather your client back up and log back in. All right, thanks, y'all. All right, that'll work. Okay, so, all right, that's my virtual people. If you are represented by one of these attorneys and your name was not called, just raise your hand. Okay. All right, just making sure we didn't miss anybody.
Yeah, Judge, there's a guy that's supposed to be here, but he's been excused. I didn't know if you wanted me to announce or not.
No, y'all just tell me when you figure out what you need to do, let me know.
Yes,
Is that total?
page 6 on the board.
I just knew we'd gather up all y'all's, and again, I appreciate y'all, I appreciate the communication lines that y'all all have with each other to bring you, because obviously we've tried, Erica and I've tried extensively to put your cases on one calendar, and it never works, so we just appreciate y'all working that out. Okay, now, are there any witnesses who are subpoenaed to be here, any witnesses? Okay, no response. All right, is there anyone else, because we do have a couple people from other calendars that I think are coming in today, including Cody Smith, is that right? Is Cody Smith present? Okay, so this is a case that did not, we missed a couple.
Yeah.
Y'all have that case in your,
Got it.
okay. So that is, for those of you who don't have it, it's 22 SR 1764, properly noticed. But, again, having never made a mistake, I can't relate to this mistake for the clerk's office, but, my heart goes out to them. So, all right, Mr. Smith, we knew you were coming, you just weren't on the calendar, it's all good. What do you want to do with your case?
Conference.
All right, conference, yes. Okay, now, anyone else whose name was not called, stand up for me. It's everybody. Okay, and before we jump right in, I just have to say this, that we had one of the best days in court yesterday. I just have to do this. So yesterday was our interpreter day, and thanks to the public defender's office and the solicitor's office and the sentence enforcement office, we had what is essentially a home run grand slam. So as our Spanish-speaking defendants came in, they were greeted by a Spanish-speaking public defender who took all their cases and talked to them and got their cases sorted as to what they needed. And then they went out and spoke with a Spanish-speaking probation officer who spoke with them about what their obligations would be if they resolved their case. And they came back in and they met with Ms. Ada, so Ms. Rosario, and then Ms. Cortez, and then Ada, our longtime interpreter, would handle the plea, and then they'd go back out with Ms. Cortez to the Spanish-speaking probation officer. So it's just what I would want for my son. If he was in a foreign country, I would want him to have someone that spoke English at all stages. And I was just very proud. We worked very hard on that. And I just can't say enough how proud I was to be a part of that, because I was only the one watching y'all put all the pieces together. I only brought Miss Ada here, and I did that years ago. So we don't get paid for yesterday's landings. Y'all did the rest of that. So I just want to say thank you. So, okay, so I was very, very proud of that and what we're going to do for folks, wherever they are, wherever they can. All right, Mr. Shepherd, the floor is yours. I'll put conferences down for all your cases.
All right, thank you, Judge. All right, good morning, all. I'm Patrick Shepherd. I'm the solicitor. That means that I'm the prosecutor. This is Jackie Tony. She's the other solicitor. We'll be the ones that are doing the conference this morning. Most of you are represented by an attorney. If you're represented by an attorney, just follow their instructions for the rest of the morning. We'll meet with them. They'll tell you about your case and where we go from here. If you do not have an attorney, and there's just a couple of you, and you've asked for a conference, what's going to happen is Miss Sherry Middleton there with the white sweater, or Miss Lenise Fletcher over there with the brown sweater. We'll call your names. We'll just call you back as one group. You're going to follow one of those ladies through the double doors to my right, your left, down the hallway to the waiting area outside of my office. Either myself or Miss Tony will call you back one at a time for your conference. When you're finished with your conference, you're going to come back down the same hallway through the same set of double doors, quietly have a seat here in the courtroom. You finish your plea. You'll get instructions for your trial in a couple weeks. When you come back into the courtroom, make sure that you do use those double doors. Do not use the single door over there behind Mr. Hutchison. If you do that, you will disrupt court and make the judge unhappy. Now, good way to start your day. Obviously, there's a lot of y'all. There's only 2 of us. We know what we're doing. We move quick. Do this just about every day. We'll have everybody out here at a reasonable time today. All right, thank you.
All right, Mr. Floyd, you have any announcements, Mr. Smith?
I think we got everybody in order.
Okay. Yeah. All right, well, then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a couple of announcements. And so So if y'all will listen up, I'm gonna say a couple things and then I'm gonna step out of the way because this next phase goes better if I'm not sitting here in this seat. So here's what's gonna happen next. So the instructions, so let me start here. Statistically speaking, one of you is going to volunteer to go to jail. So let me do that again. Statistically speaking, one of you is gonna volunteer to go to jail. Are y'all ready to call your first round? Oh, go ahead, that'd be
Are
great.
you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're not gonna go to jail, they're gonna go out with you.
If I call your name, if you'll go out those doors and I'll meet you in the hallway. I think it was Brandon Loudermilk, Patricia Love, and Cody Smith.
Okay, so for the rest of you all, I hope no one goes to jail, but what happens every day is I give these instructions. You ready? We're all human. Most of us had coffee. Step to the restroom, get straight back to your seats. Like, that's the instructions. That's the extent of the instructions. But every single day, someone wanders off and doesn't come back. I don't know if you're getting a haircut, mowing your yard, I'm not really sure. But they just wander off and don't come back. So I have to issue a warrant for you, and then I'm gonna hold you in jail with that bond, and then I'm gonna come see you in a couple of weeks out of the jail. I don't know why it keeps happening. Someone told me that it's because I make this announcement, that it encourages people to wander off. But I'm telling you that I'm not encouraging you to wander off. I don't want to arrest you, but statistically speaking, one of you is gonna volunteer. So, I hope today's not that day. So here's your instructions. We're about to recess, not adjourn. We're about to recess for a little bit. It's 9:30. I'm gonna recess until 10, I think 10 or 10:15.
And would be less, but that's good.
So, which one?
10.
10, okay, 10. I usually get these times wrong, so I'm taking input now. All right, so I'm gonna recess until 10 o'clock. While that's in, y'all need to be here because the solicitor's office is gonna be calling folks that way. The attorneys are gonna be calling people up to meet with the jury box. Public defender's office calling folks here. Bailiff's calling folks this way. Again, if you're not in your center seats, you're gonna be lost, and then I'm gonna issue a warrant. All right, that's it. Bailiffs, the courtroom is yours. We're in recess till 10 o'clock.
Miss Davis, very hard.
What do y'all have first?
We
Y'all gotta get
have
to the
one
jail.
big Benny Harper.
All right, call them up.
Harper.
Then we have another case that's gonna require Mr. Shepherd's, but our client is on his way too, so we'll just find that out.
All right, all right, please state your name.
Benny Harper.
All right, raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right, take your hand down, state your full name for me.
Benny Harper.
Mr. Harper, you were on time for court today. Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes, I did.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes.
Your attorney has passed up to me this attorney and defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document as the written version of those rights I read out earlier?
I do.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes, sir.
Page 2?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it
Yes, sir.
and to ask your attorney any questions you have about it,
Yes.
and because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes.
Have you had all the time that you need to speak with your attorneys about all aspects of your case?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with the job they've done on your behalf?
Yes.
You understand that you have the right to a jury trial,
Yes.
and that by entering this plea, there will be no trial. This case will be closed. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Harper, do you have any questions for me about anything on this attorney and defendant plea rights waiver or anything else before I pivot to your attorney?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Malloy, do you stipulate there's a sufficient factual basis for me to accept this hit and run charge from December 2nd, 2020 here in Spalding County?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Harper, do you wish to enter a guilty plea to that hit and run charge?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna find, with your admission, with Mr. Malloy's stipulation combined with Mr. Harper's request to enter the guilty plea, that there's enough for me to take this plea. I'm gonna find that Mr. Harper is knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving his rights and entering this plea. I reviewed the recommendation and I will follow it. Mr. Malloy, the floor is yours if you'd like it.
Your Honor, just ask the court to accept the plea as negotiated, and I did explain to Mr. Harper that because of the charge, there would be a license suspension attached to this.
Yes.
But I explained to him what he will need to do once he receives the letter from DDS. And a good possibility he may be eligible for the limited driving permit.
That's
For the
actually what I'm
120
just
days.
looking up right now. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, we looked it up in the back there. So it's 120-day suspension.
Okay.
But he's gonna confirm what I just said.
It would help if I hit the right button. There it is. Actually, it says he needs to do a defensive driving, so it's 120-day suspension. He does get a limited permit, but he can't get his license back without a defensive driving course. So are you okay if I add that, since you need to do it anyway, and that'll help you track it? I just don't want that to sneak up on you because you forget. So, all right, I'm gonna add that to it. It says it's the defensive driving course. That's good, that's the shorter one. It's the second course. Okay, so not the big one. Okay, and a 210, so it's 120 days, $210, defensive driving, will get your license back. You can have a permit in the meantime for DDS.
So once you get the letter, go to DDS to get the limited driving permit.
Okay.
And then after doing 120 days, get that stuff done so you can get your license back.
Yeah, Mr. Malloy is exactly correct, as I'm reading it here and my memory of it. So, okay, all right, that's a good question. I was curious myself, I couldn't quite remember. So, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions about anything? No. You ready? All right. Benny Harper, on 22 SR 1646, count 1 hit and run, I'm gonna find you guilty. It's 12 months probation, 596 as your fine. Count 2 is dismissed. It's a total of 12 months. Get your license back, show it to the Citizen Enforcement Team. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 per month supervision fee, $25 intake fee. This is consecutive to any current probation sentence. $50 in restitution to Spalding County to offset the cost of your attorney. This case will close the moment 3 months have passed. Actually, you won't be able to close within 3, you'll be able, but it will, I'm gonna leave it as it is, because you'll need 4 to get your license back. But I'm gonna leave it at 3 just because that way you'll see that that's not gonna keep you any longer than the suspension. But it'll terminate as soon as you're finished. I added the defensive driving school, not because I wanted to add things to it, but because I didn't want you to lose track of the fact that you need that to get your license back. Right, you have 30 days from today if you want to appeal this decision. You have 6 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. Do you remember me talking about habeas earlier? Yeah. All right, perfect. Do you need anything else from me or any questions before we part ways? No, sir. All right, these were good questions, Mr. Harper, and I'm going to pass you off to Mr. Phillips and wish you best of luck.
All right, good luck.
What else do you need? I'll let my calendar. What was your next one?
It was the
Fletcher.
Fletcher, which was the prosecutor's case with Ms. Clark.
Okay.
He apparently Ms. Middleton came in here and said he called their office thinking he was just a witness, and they said, no, you need to be here now. So I understand he's on his way, so hopefully we'll resolve both of those cases.
That sounds great. Let me just grab it. All right, well, the moment he gets here, give me, because I think Ms. Clark, that's all she's waiting on too. All right, Mr. Dutton, what do we have?
Mr. Fields has a plea that we're signing up right now. My other two cases, Mr. Bowles and Ms. Hood
Yes.
are going to be dismissed. You've signed those off process already.
So I've signed the null process on, which ones?
Hood and Bowles.
All right, so Walls, top of page 1 is null process, signed it. And then, said Hood.
Hood. Okay, it's Michaela Hood.
Page 3.
And then Mr. Fields is going to be a plea as soon as we're done signing.
And I'll bring it, sign it up and send some enforcement. The bailiffs will, once you get all your paperwork together, give it to the bailiffs. I'm not allowed to handle the paperwork anymore because I was missing out. So they look through it, make sure it's all there. When I have it, I start clipping it to the wrong thing.
Is there?
Has your client met with the,
He has not yet.
okay, let's send him back out to do that real quick, it won't take long. Have him fill out the information on there, then we can take it out of there. All right, well then, if y'all are good, we'll let your client, I'm gonna go ahead and do this virtual plea and get these folks out of here.
Yes, sir.
Again, y'all just get my attention as soon as you're ready.
Yes, sir.
All right, just Cobb and Attorney West, I've sent y'all unmute requests. All right, Attorney West, can you hear me okay?
I can, Judge.
All right, and Mercedes Cobb, if you'll unmute yourself, I've sent you an unmute request.
Yes, sir, Judge. This is Mercedes.
Okay, perfect. So I have y'all's paperwork here. Let me grab this. All right. It's my understanding y'all were on, I think, maybe Monday's calendar.
Yes, sir, page 2.
Page 2 on Monday's calendar, but you were reporting today, which is great. Okay, so let's jump in. Ms. Cobb, are you ready to enter your plea?
Yes, sir. Could you give me 1 second, please?
Yes, of course. And Mr. West, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mute you. And what you'll do is, if you need to speak, you'll just press the space bar, and that'll just unmute you while you're speaking. It's awesome.
Yes, sir, I'm ready.
Okay, and are you on a computer or on your phone, or how do you
I'm on
use
the
it?
phone.
Okay, no problem, we're good to go then. All right, so Ms. Cobb, I can't see you, but I'm gonna trust that your attorney knows this is you, and y'all have already sent me all your paperwork, so we're just gonna move forward. Is that okay?
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be able to use my camera. I'm messing with the phone. Could you just give me 1 second? But I can hear you very well.
Well, and you should know, this is not a stressful moment for me. Like, this is okay. Your attorney is telling me that's who you are. And I would like to think that Mr. West would know if that wasn't you.
Okay.
So again, if you can't get yourself with your video on, that is okay.
Okay.
All right, you ready to go forward as we are?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to place you under oath. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'd like you to state your full name, first, middle, last.
Mercedes Cobb.
Okay, and hey, your video just came up and it looks great. So, all right, Ms. Cobb, you are here on 2 cases with your attorney, and y'all are both virtual. Is it okay with you, Ms. Cobb, that we're going to have this plea over this video conference system?
Yes, sir. It's okay.
Attorney West, is that acceptable as well? Okay. I'm losing his video a little bit. All right, I'm just going to let him stay muted. I didn't need his, yeah, they're the ones who requested to report virtually. All right, Ms. Cobb, let's see, you were here virtually this morning when I started court, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Cobb, your attorney is very well organized, and before court started today, he sent me this document that I'm putting up on your screen, which is the attorney and defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document here that I put up on your screen?
Yes, sir.
Are those your initials next to each of the lines on page 1? And I'm about to scroll down a little bit. There we go.
Yes, sir.
And then moving on to page 2, are those your initials next to each of the lines there?
Yes, sir.
And obviously it says Mercedes Cobb signed with express permission. Did you give Attorney West express permission to sign your name right there?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then it has David West's signature as well. All right. So did you sign and initial that document after reviewing it fully
Yes, sir.
and having an opportunity to ask your attorney any questions that you have about it?
I haven't had an opportunity to ask some questions about it, but I most definitely understand it. And he explained to me what's going on also.
Okay, so if you had had questions, you would have been able to ask them prior to this moment.
Well, if it's the same what he explained to me, then I have no question.
Okay, well, I'm gonna let you two remove yourself from the video conference system. I have to be able to know that you reviewed this document with your attorney and that you have had an opportunity to ask questions. And I've asked you that twice now, and you've said no both times. So I'm gonna let y'all remove yourselves from the system.
Judge,
Go ahead.
Judge, I think the confusion, if there is any, is that she understands the questions and understands the form and everything on it. I think she's just stating she wants to make sure things as far as what's going to happen with the end result.
Oh.
And nothing has changed, Ms. Cobb, from the last time we spoke.
Okay, yes, sir. Well, I understand everything that I signed.
Okay, because I'm specifically talking about the rights, not the sentence.
Oh, yes, sir. I understand.
Okay, thank you, Mr. West, for saving that. I was about to push y'all back out to talk a little more. Okay, well then, all right, so let me come back in here real quick and print this. So do you need to ask your attorney any questions about anything on the attorney and defendant plea rights waiver?
No, sir.
And that's the document that's up on the screen that we just looked at together.
No, sir. I have read it and initially, so I understand very well.
Okay. And if you think of any questions that you wish to ask, do you promise to interrupt me and let me know?
I won't interrupt you, but I will raise my hand and let you know.
Perfect. It's just very important to understand those rights. Okay, so back to the script. Have you had all the time that you need to speak with your attorney about all aspects of your cases?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with the job your attorney has done on your behalf?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial on both of your cases?
I do. I understand.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial, and these cases will both be closed. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir. Yes, Judge.
All right. And I have printed I've printed the form that we put up on the screen. I've signed it myself, and I've written that both the defendant and the attorney were virtual during this plea. All right, so Mr. West, starting with 22 SR 1429, do you stipulate that there is a sufficient factual basis for me to accept this disorderly conduct case from March 14th, 2021 here in Spalding County?
We would stipulate there is a factual basis, Judge.
All right, Ms. Cobb, do you wish to enter a guilty plea to this disorderly conduct charge?
Yes, sir.
All right, I find from between the attorney's stipulation and the defendant's request to enter a guilty plea that there's enough for me to take the plea. I'm gonna find that you are knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering this plea. I reviewed the recommendation and I will follow it. Mr. West, the floor is yours if you wish to add anything before I sentence.
Not really, Judge. I just appreciate Mr. Shepard working with me toward what I think is a resolution of this unfortunate incident. She's had no other issues since the incident, and she's been a pleasure of a client to represent, Judge. I think she'll get through what she needs to do to close this out with flying colors, and I think this is a fair resolution. So we'd have to accept it.
Okay, which I'm happy to do. Ms. Cobb, do you have any questions for me before I sentence?
No, Judge. I don't.
All right, here we go. Mercedes Cobb, 22 SR 1429, count 1, disorderly conduct. I'm gonna find you guilty. It's 12 months probation. $590 is your fine. You may work off your fine with community service work if you wish. You will be required to show a valid license to the sentence enforcement team. You'll have no alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products, and you will be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 per month supervision fee, $25 intake fee. You may go to e-report after your orientation. Let's see, I need to assign you a first report date. Do you live here in the area? I don't know where you live.
No, sir. I don't live in the area at all. But I will report as soon as whenever I need to report, I'll be there. If it has to be Monday in the morning, whenever.
That's fine. Just tell me where you live.
I live in Atlanta.
Okay. I'm going to have you report just once down here in person, and then after that, you'll be on e-report. So,
Yes, thank you.
They want me to have you report on Friday. That's not a report date, so they get you in and out between 9 and noon. Are you able to come down this Friday between 9 and noon?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then that's going to be my, so I'm going to put here that you shall report to the probation office in person this Friday, which would be the 8th, 2024, between 9 a.m. and noon. Okay.
No problem.
You shall pay restitution to Chanel Harris. You'll actually pay it. The way we work here is you'll have 6 months to pay it as a one-time lump sum payment to the clerk of court. They'll give you a receipt. Once you take that receipt to sentence enforcement, and they'll make a copy of it and check that box as completed. If you do not do that within 6 months and do not communicate otherwise, that will be grounds for revocation of your probation. Do you understand that?
I understand, Judge.
All right, and there's more information there. They'll pass it along to you when you meet with them. You're to have no contact whatsoever with Chanel Harris or Natasha Tysinger, and you're not to go anywhere near Captain D's. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision. You have 12 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights, and 22 SR 1428 is going to be dismissed, and I have signed that, so that case is now closed. The only thing I don't have, Ms. Cobb, is a probation acknowledgement form. I'm going to reach out to sentence enforcement and ask them whether or not they want us to get your attorney to get one, or if they'll just get you to fill one out when you come down on Friday. So if they want that, I'll have them email it to Mr. West's office tomorrow, okay?
Yes, Judge.
If not, I'll just have you fill it out when you come down. All right, Mr. West, anything else?
No, Your Honor, I think that takes care of everything.
All right, Ms. Cobb, anything else?
No, Judge, thank you.
All right, y'all may both remove yourself from the system. Just remember to report in person this Friday, between 9 a.m. and noon.
I will, Judge. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Judge. Y'all have a nice day.
Thank you too. Okay. Back on, let's come back to order, everybody. All right, state your name, please.
Shelley Keith Fields.
All right, please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, take your hand down. You were on time for court today, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes.
Did you, your attorney has passed up to me this attorney and defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document that I'm holding up?
Yes, sir.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes.
Oops. Page 2?
Yes.
Is that your signature?
Yes.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time you needed to review it?
Yes.
And because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes.
Did you have all the time that you need to speak with your attorney about all aspects of your case, including this document here?
Yes, sir.
And are you satisfied with the job your attorney has done on your behalf?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes.
That by entering this plea, there will be no trial, and this case will be closed. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you have any questions for me about anything before I pivot to your attorney with my next set of questions?
No, sir.
Okay. If you think of any, you can promise to ask.
Okay.
Mr. Dutton, do you stipulate that there's a factual basis to support this disorderly conduct plea from January 10th, 2023 here in Spalding County?
I do, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Fields, do you wish to enter a guilty plea to this disorderly conduct charge?
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll find with Mr. Dutton's stipulation as the factual basis combined with Mr. Fields' request to enter a guilty plea, that there's enough for me to take a plea. I'm going to find that Mr. Fields is knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving his rights to enter this plea. I've reviewed the recommendation and I'll follow it. Mr. Dutton, the floor is yours if you want to.
Yes, Your Honor. My client has nothing on his record other than this. This was sort of an ongoing dispute from his work location, which he owns, and the neighboring warehouse. It started as several verbal altercations over the course of years. Police have been involved, the EPD has been involved, the EPA has been involved. Eventually, it came to a head with a shouting match, which then got out of control. That said, Your Honor, because of all those circumstances, we would ask that his record be restricted once he's off of probation. I didn't mention that to Mr. Shepard. I don't see why he would object or anything, but.
No, he would not object. What that would do though, because you're going to need to talk to him a little bit, is that would change what I would be willing to give. So right now, it's going non-report after 3 months. If I do first offender, which is I think what you're asking me for.
Well, it's just a or a record restriction at the end when this is done. I don't know if that's a possibility, not necessarily a first offender, but.
Let's go off record. record. All right, Mr. Dutton, obviously there were a lot of moving parts in that request. I talked to you off record. We walked through several as you walking through the client. Have you identified which of those pathways you would like to take with the client?
Your Honor, we discussed doing it under the first offender statute, but because of the 12 months even reporting, he's decided to opt not to use the first offender. This is just a disorderly conduct as well. It's not that that's going to really affect his record in any way.
Okay. All right, that sounds fine. I just wanted to give you all the time you needed to kind of think that through because I wasn't, I didn't necessarily need him coming in, but also I wasn't willing to just give it away. So, okay. Well then I'm going to come back and just start at, I'm going to find that he is knowingly, voluntarily, intelligently waiving his rights and entering this plea. I've reviewed the recommendation and I'll follow it exactly the way it's been negotiated. Anything else before I sentence, Mr. Dutton?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Fields, do you have any questions for me about anything before I sentence?
No, sir.
All right. Shelley Fields on 23 SR 0303, count 1, disorderly conduct. I'm going to find you guilty. It's 12 months probation, $590 is your fine. You may work off your fine with community service work if you wish. Show your valid license to the sentence enforcement team. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or drug products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 per month supervision fee, $25 intake fee. This is consecutive to any current sentence you may be serving. You may go to non-report once 3 months have passed, no violations have occurred, and all conditions have been met. You would have no contact whatsoever with Jack Martin Jr. And that's the sentence of the court. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision. You have 12 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. All right, Mr. Fields, do you have any questions I can answer for you about anything we covered today?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Dutton, anything else on this case?
Judge, there is one more. He is trying to divest himself of the business and sell it and go to retirement. However, their businesses are right next to each other on the same road. So we're going to do everything we can to have no contact at all with them. However, sometimes the no contacts specifically say you can't drive past their work or whatever, but they
Sure.
work right next to each other. So other than that, there will be no contact whatsoever.
All right, well, just keep your lawyer in the communication loop, and I'm sure if there's anything there, we can sort that out.
Certainly.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Your Honor. And that concludes my business today.
I think that's everything, right? Okay, thanks. All right, I think, is your cross fifth here? It's good enough,
Mr. Shepherd.
and, Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. All right, hello. All right, if you will please state your full name for me.
Jose Manuel Espinosa.
All right, and if you'll please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. Mr. Espinoza, you are on time for court today, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes, indeed.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Espinoza, your attorney, Mr. Smiley, has passed up this attorney and defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document that I'm holding up?
Yes, sir.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1,
Yes, sir.
as well as page 2?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign and initial this document after reviewing the document fully
That's correct.
and having a chance to ask your attorney any questions you have about it?
Yes, sir.
And because you understood everything that's on it? Mr. Espinoza, have you had all the time that you need to speak with your attorney about all aspects of your case?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with the job your attorney's done on your behalf?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
I do understand. Yes, sir.
And by entering this plea, there will be no trial, and this case will be closed. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Espinoza, do you have any questions for me about the attorney and defendant plea rights waiver or anything else before I pivot to your attorney with my next set of questions?
No, sir. No, no.
All right, Mr. Spalding, do you stipulate there's a factual basis to support this plea to reckless driving from February 14th, 2021 here in Spalding County?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you wish to enter a guilty plea to that reckless driving charge, Mr. Espinoza? Do you wish to enter a guilty plea to that charge?
Yes, sir.
Okay. On to the suspended license. I can just go straight to Mr. Espinoza. Have you used a NOLO on a suspended license charge in the last 5 years?
Not that I remember, sir.
Okay, you'd remember because you would have stood in front of a judge in a very similar way. All right, in the very off chance that you might be mistaken, I'm going to go forward with it. And if you are wrong and you did use it, what will happen is when it goes into the system, it'll go in as a conviction, as a guilty plea, just not a NOLO.
Right.
But you don't come back in front of me. It just goes in as a guilty plea.
That's correct.
Okay. I'm a NOLO either way. It's just how it gets into.
Right. And Judge, I spoke with Mr. Shepard about it. He had his record in front of him, so.
Great. That makes me feel better.
We appear to be solid.
Okay, wonderful. And you want me to accept this NOLO, Mr. Espinoza, for driving that occurred on February 14th, 2021 and resulted in this suspended license charge?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to find with Mr. Smiley's stipulation of the factual basis combined with Mr. Espinoza's request to enter the guilty plea on count 1 and the NOLO on count 2, that everything is proper for me to accept this plea. I'm going to find that Mr. Espinoza is knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving his rights and entering this plea. I reviewed the recommendation and I will follow it. Mr. Smiley, the floor is yours if you want it.
Judge, we've just asked that the court accept the negotiated recommendation, and we would like you to know that Mr. Espinoza now has a valid Georgia driver's license.
Thank you for doing that. Okay. Mr. Espinoza, do you have any questions for me about anything before I sentence?
No, sir.
All right, here we go. Mr. Espinoza, on 22 SR 1128, count 1, reckless driving, I'm gonna find you guilty. It's 12 months probation, $1,220 is your fine. Count 2, suspended license, your NOLO is granted, it's 12 months consecutive for a total sentence of 24 months. The fine on count 2 is $742.50. Count 3 is dismissed. That's 24 months total. No jail time. Show your valid license to sentence enforcement. No alcohol, no illegal drugs, alcohol, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 per month supervision fee, $25 one-time intake fee. This is consecutive to any current probation sentence. Your case will terminate once 12 months have passed, no violations have occurred, and all conditions have been met. You will also complete 40 hours of community service work and no less than 6 hours per week. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision. You have 6 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. Do you have any questions for me, Mr. Espinoza, about anything? Mr. Smiley, do you need anything else on this matter?
No, Judge.
All right. And Mr. Espinoza, if you will step with Mr. Smith out that way and go meet with the sentence.
Have a good day, sir.
And Mr. Smiley, look, just ready on the cross fifth?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, floor is yours whenever you're ready.
Are y'all talking?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we get Victoria Hornsby and Edrin Fletcher. Hornsby's yours.
Yeah.
I'll do this Hornsby first. Ms. Hornsby, you raise your right hand, please. You swear the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, can you state your name, please?
Victoria Elizabeth Hornsby.
And Ms. Hornsby, you're the named defendant in the State versus Victoria Hornsby 22 SR 1689, is that correct?
Correct.
And you're also the named victim in the State versus Ederin Fletcher, which is 22 SR 1688?
Correct.
All right, and this is involving an incident that occurred on June 29th of 2022?
Correct.
All right, and it's my understanding that if I were to call you to testify in the case against Mr. Fletcher, that you would invoke your Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination and choose not to testify, is that correct?
Correct.
All right, and you understand in doing so, it's very likely that the case against Mr. Fletcher would be dismissed?
Correct.
You understand if the case against Mr. Fletcher is dismissed, that any bond conditions limiting contact between you and Mr. Fletcher would also go away?
Correct.
All right, and you're represented by Ms. Kara Clark in this?
Correct.
And she advised you of everything related to this cross-fifth plea that you're entering today?
Yes.
All right, has anybody promised you anything to get you to do this?
No.
Has anybody threatened you in any way to get you to do this?
No.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol this morning?
No.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Clark, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Malloy, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Ma'am, you may step back.
All right, Mr. Fletcher. Mr. Fletcher, will you raise your hand, please? You swear the testimony you're about to give before the court this morning will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, can you state your name, please?
Darren Fletcher.
All right, Mr. Fletcher, you are the named defendant in State versus Darian Fletcher, 22 SR 1688?
Yeah.
And you are the named victim in the State versus Victoria Hornsby, which is 22 SR 1689?
Yes.
And this is all resulting of some conduct that occurred on June 29th of 2022?
Yes.
All right, and Mr. Fletcher, it's my understanding that if I were to call you to testify at trial against Ms. Hornsby, you would invoke your Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination?
Yes.
And you're represented by Mr. Terrence Malloy today?
Yes.
Has he explained to you everything, all the ramifications of taking a cross-fifth this morning?
Yes.
All right, and you understand that if you invoke your Fifth Amendment privilege, that the case against Ms. Hornsby would most likely be dismissed?
Yes.
You understand that any bond conditions existing that limit contact between you and Ms. Hornsby would also go away?
Yes.
All right, is that what you want to do today?
Yes, sir.
All right, has anybody promised you anything to get you to do this?
No.
Has anybody threatened you in any way to get you to do this?
No.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol this morning?
No.
That's all.
All right, have questions, Director?
No, Your Honor.
Any cross?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then that concludes the matter. Mr. Shepherd, floor is yours.
Judge, as you've heard from both Mr. Fletcher and Ms. Hornsby, they're going to be invoking their Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination. They are the named victims against each other. They're the primary witnesses, and their testimony would be necessary to secure a conviction in either of these two cases. And as they have both invoked their Fifth Amendment privilege, saying that they will not testify against each other, the state will be unable to proceed with the prosecution of these two cases.
All right, well, having heard evidence today that the state will be unable to proceed because there's no other witnesses, evidence, or anything secondary to corroborate this without the testimony of the two defendants who would have to testify in each other's cases and violate their own Fifth Amendment rights, having them both on the record under oath, I'm going to find that the state will be unable to go forward in these two cases. Do you want me to do dismissals from here, or are you going to do null process? What procedure would you prefer?
We can get them done. Judge.
Okay, then I'll send null process on those two cases. So your clients are free to go. Tell them to go. I'll tell y'all, go and be peaceful. Y'all just go and be peaceful. So, all right.
Thank you, Judge.
You know, good lawyers, listen to what they're telling you to do. All right.
Who is Johnny Q?
Judge, that concludes my business, if I may be excused.
Yes, good
And
to
I
see
will
you.
see you all this afternoon.
Thank you. I didn't hear what name you said.
Hill, Your Honor, Johnny Hill.
I normally don't pick through, but I was trying to get the attorney back.
Appreciate that, Judge. It's supposed to be over at the jail.
Okay. All right, you Mr. Please state your full name, please.
Johnny Curtis Hill.
Mr. Hill, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. All right. State your full name for me. Take your hand up. And I've already asked you to state your name. That's not what I meant to ask you. You were on time for court today, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Did you hear all the rights I read out to the courtroom and see the PowerPoint up on the wall?
Yes.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes.
All right, a little soft spoken. If you'll step forward and if you just lean into this mic, it'll get really loud if you get close. Perfect. And we're getting a new boom mic. That one was my idea and it was a failure. So we're gonna get a better one. All right, Mr. Hill, Your attorney has passed up to me this attorney and defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document as the written version of those rights are read on it?
Yes.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes.
Page 2?
Yes.
And is that your signature?
Yes.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time you needed to review it?
Yes.
And because you understood and having a chance to ask your attorney any questions you have about it?
Yes.
And because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Hill, have you had all the time that you need to speak with your attorneys about all aspects of your case?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with the job they've done on your behalf?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial on your case?
Yes.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial and this case will be closed? Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Hill, do you have any questions for me about the attorney and defendant plea rights waiver or anything else before I ask your attorney a couple questions?
No.
All right, Mr. Hudson, do you stipulate there's a factual basis for count 1, DUI less safe alcohol?
We do, Your Honor.
I'm so sorry, that was me, I paused. From July 24th, 2022, here in Spalding County.
Yes, Your Honor, we do.
All right, then, Mr. Hill, would you like to enter a guilty plea to that charge?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Hill, and you're welcome to keep your mask on. The mic's really good with masks. That's why we picked it. So, Mr. Hill, I'm gonna find that with your request to enter a guilty plea combined with your attorney's stipulations, factual basis, there's enough for me to take your plea. I'm gonna find that Mr. Hill's knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving his rights to enter this plea. I reviewed the recommendation. I'll follow it exactly the way it's been negotiated. Mr. Hutchinson, the floor is yours if you want it.
Your Honor, just briefly, I come in here a bunch of times. Johnny, he's been very proactive. He's been, dealing with me. We've talked through his case. Even the day of the incident, he was saying that, I did the crime. I need to take my medicine. I think it's a quote from the video, Your Honor. Good man. I don't believe the court's going to see him again. I think that he's going to fly through probation without any kind of problems. I mentioned to him that there was a license suspension involved in this, but I keep on forgetting how the court deals with license suspension, whether he turns in his license now or we wait for the letter to come from the Department of Driver Services. And so, Johnny, expect a letter from the Department of Driver Services, and
We'll turn it in very quickly. That's where we come in. We send it in within 48 hours. They'll process it usually within 72 hours after that. So you should get that letter within a little over a week from now. So if your address is wrong on your license, you are gonna have a mess. So if that's, other than that, like I said, we started doing that during COVID. Frankly, it cut our paperwork in half. And we just left it alone with COVID and it seems to work.
as far as a limited permit, Your Honor, we would request a limited permit. How you want to deal with that?
Yeah, so since I'm not taking it, when you go get it, you can do both things at the same time. And so you'll just take, as soon as you get that notice, you hightail it down there with your license, and you can go ahead and just swap it all out at the same time. So that way you don't need the first offender affidavit. I don't have to serve you with notice. Like it just works. I know it's not how it was set up, but it worked great during COVID. And we just so that's it.
I just wanted to.
Yeah. No, like I said, I know that's not the right procedure. It just works really well.
It's not that it's wrong, Judge.
It's
just
not
different.
wrong. It's just not the right procedure. So, and like I said, it worked great during COVID, and then we just kept it.
Yes.
So, okay. So, Mr. Hill, you understand that? So, in about a week, you're gonna hightail it down to the DDS with that letter at hand and your license. Turn in your license, get your limited permit. Assuming you qualify, which it seems like you do. And then you'll drive on that for a couple months, and then you should get your license back. So, you'll have some more steps in there. I'm oversimplifying it, but you have great attorneys. Just follow their directions. So, okay. Mr. Hill, do you have any questions for me? Okay. All right. Johnny Hill on 22 SR 1840, count 1, DUI less safe. I'm gonna find you guilty. It's 12 months probation. 1671 is your fine. Count 3. So count 2 merges into count 1. Count 3 is dismissed. 1 day to serve in the jail. Credit for time served on that, so you don't have to go back. You will need to get your license back and show that to the sentence enforcement team. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products. You'll be tested for those. 4th Amendment waiver. $50 per month supervision fee, $25 intake fee. This is consecutive to any current sentence. $40 hours community service work and no less than 6 hours per week. Substance abuse evaluation or proof that you've already completed it within 90 days. DUI school or proof that you've already completed it within 60 days. And you can't get your license back until you've done the DUI school. So that's why we have it in that time frame, so you have it done before your license is qualified for reinstatement. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision, and you have 6 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. Any questions from anybody, anything, Mr. Hill, before we part ways? Mr. Hutchinson, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, that concludes this matter. Mr. Hill, if you'll step up, Mr. Williams.
Judge, may I make a brief announcement? One, it's on your March 4th calendar, page 6, Douglas Pullum. We did receive a recommendation from the state this morning. My client is currently going through cancer treatments, and that's the reason why I couldn't be here today. We're going to labor to make sure that we have a plea in absentia presented to the court by the 18th, God willing, and that should resolve the case at that point in time, Your Honor.
Okay, who is that again?
It's Douglas Pullum.
Pullum.
Yes, Your Honor. Like I said, it's page 6 on your March 4th calendar.
So I'm going to put medical. Y'all got the forms on that, don't you?
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to mark that as 318. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else?
No, Your Honor. I think that's it. And may I be excused?
Yes, great.
Your Honor, in Mr. Schwallen's case, we've done a pre-trial diversion. He signed up and ready to go, so I was hoping I might be excused.
That sounds great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate the cases.
Thank you.
All right. I've got a couple of self-represented pleas left. And let's see where we're at. Love. Tricia Love. Come on up. Okay, if you would please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, take your hand down, state your full name for me.
I'm Patricia Renee Love.
All right, Ms. Love, you are here on 22 SR 1112, and you're on time for court today. Did you hear the rights are read out to the courtroom and see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
You passed up to me this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes, sir.
Page 2?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it?
Yes, sir.
And because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes, sir.
Did you see on here where it said you have the right to have an attorney represent you?
Yes, sir.
And you're here representing yourself?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
You understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes, sir.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial, and this case will be closed. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Love, you are charged with 1 count of theft by receiving. Shows I'm ready to pull it through the case as we go. And that you did here in Spalding County back on August 22nd of 2020, commit the offense of theft by receiving stolen property, the property of Robert Chambers, valued in the amount of $127.33, and that you did receive this property without the intent to restore it to Mr. Chambers. Did you do that?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm gonna find with your admission of guilt, there's enough for me to take your plea. I'm gonna find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights in entering this plea. I'll review the recommendation and I'll follow it as negotiated. Do you have any questions for me about anything before I sentence?
No, sir.
All right, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Patricia Love on 22 SR 1112, count 1, theft by receiving, guilty, 12 months, $870 is your fine. You may work off your fine with community service work if you wish. Show your valid license to sentence enforcement. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 per month supervision fee, $25 intake fee. This is consecutive to any current sentence. You may go to e-report after you've completed all of your terms. You're to pay restitution of $127.33 to Robert Chambers. You'll actually pay that directly to the clerk of court as a one-time payment within 6 months, 180 days of today. Failure to do so may result in revocation of your probation. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do not go to any Home Depot or have any contact with Robert Chambers.
Yes, sir.
And that's the sentence of the court. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision. You have 12 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. Can I answer any questions for you about anything that's left before we part ways?
No, sir.
Okay. And Mr. Phillips is going to walk out those double doors and have you go meet with sentence enforcement. Thank you. All right, next case is Cody Smith. All right, please raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, take your hand down, state your full name for me.
Cody Lee Smith.
All right, Mr. Smith, you're here on 22 SR 1764. Your case was properly noticed for today, but we just through a clerical error ended up not on the calendar. You were noticed to be here, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Mr. Smith, you were on time for court today.
Yes, sir.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
Any questions I can answer for you about those rights?
No, sir.
You passed up to me this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. You recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes, sir.
Page 2?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it?
Yes, sir.
Because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Smith, you have the right to a jury trial. By entering this plea, there's not going to be a trial. This case can be closed. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Smith, you're charged in 22 SR 1764 with one count of criminal trespass with damage, and that you did damage property of Teresa Lauderdale for in the amount of $450 without authority back on June 1st of 2021 here in Spalding County. Did you do that?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm gonna find with your admission of guilt that there's enough for me to take your plea. I'm gonna find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering this plea. I reviewed the recommendation and I'll follow it. Any questions about anything before I sentence?
No, sir.
You ready? All right. Cody Smith, 22 SR 1764, criminal trespass with damage, guilty, 12 months, $870 is your fine. You may work off your fine with community service work. Obtain your valid license or show a valid license to sentence enforcement. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 per month supervision fee, $25 intake fee. This is consecutive to any current sentence. This shall terminate the moment you've satisfied your obligations to the court, which, as I said earlier, include a $450 restitution payment to Teresa Lauderdale. You will make that restitution payment as a one-time payment to the clerk of court within 180 days from today. Failure to do so may result in revocation of your probation. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision. You have 12 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. Any questions before we part ways?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Smith's gonna walk out those double doors and we go meet with sentence enforcement. Watson. All right, Ms. Watson, please raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right, take your hand down, state your full name for me.
Sean Andrea Watson.
All right, you are here today on 23 SR 0121, and am I correct that you were late to court today? All right, so let's jump forward to this document here. I'm holding up this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document? Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
They are.
Page 2?
They are.
Is this your signature?
It is.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it?
I did.
And because you understood everything that's on it?
Correct.
Are there any questions I can answer for you about anything, no matter how minor, on this document? You understand that you have the right to have an attorney represent you?
I do.
And you're here representing yourself?
Correct.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial, this case will be closed. Is that what you want to do?
Correct.
All right. Ms. Watson, did you, here in Spalding County, back on December 11th of 2022, operate your motor vehicle, act in a disorderly conduct in the presence of Antonio Cheatley in a manner that threatened the immediate breach of the peace? Did you do that? Okay. I'm gonna find that with your admission of guilt, there's enough for me to take your plea. I'm gonna find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering this plea. I've reviewed the recommendation and I will follow it as you have negotiated it. Do you have any questions for me about anything before I sentence? You ready?
Yes.
All right. Chandra Watson on 23 SR 0121, count 1, disorderly conduct. I'm gonna find you guilty. It's 12 months probation, $870 is your fine. This total of 12 months. You may work off your fine with community service work if you wish. Show your valid license to sentence enforcement. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 per month supervision fee, $25 intake fee. This is consecutive to any current sentence. You may go to non-report probation once 6 months have passed and no violations have occurred and all conditions have been met. You're to have no contact whatsoever with Antonio Cheatley. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision, and you have 12 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. Do you remember reading about habeas on the back of your right sheet, right there where I'm pointing?
Yes.
And that's that weird old law where you sue Spalding County to challenge this conviction. All right, do you have any questions for me about anything before you and I part ways? No?
No.
Okay. Your warrant is lifted, your case is closed. Mr. Williams is going to walk you out to go meet with sentence enforcement. Martinez, I'm going to note that that's the last case I have in my hopper. Is anybody else waiting for me for anything else? All right, what's your name now? You're waiting for a trial conversation? Okay, sit tight. You're here. All right. Sir, what are you waiting on? Are you student community service work?
No, trial.
Okay, good. Grab a seat. Be right back to you. All right, Martinez?
Yes, sir.
All right, raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
All right, take your hand down. State your full name for me.
Joan Maria Martinez.
All right, Mr. Martinez, you were late to court today, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to jump forward to this document. I'm holding up this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes, sir.
Page 2?
Yes.
Is that your signature?
I'm sorry?
Is that your signature?
Yes, it is.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time you needed to review it?
Yes, sir.
And because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes, sir.
Are there any questions I can answer for you about anything on this document? You have the right to have an attorney represent you, and you're here representing yourself. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes, sir.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial, and this case will be closed. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Martinez, you're charged with DUI and that you did here in Spalding County back on February 4th of 2023, operate a moving vehicle while under the influence of alcohol to the extent it was less safe for you to drive. Did you do that?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll find with your admission of guilt, there's enough for me to take your plea. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering this plea. I'll review the recommendation and I'll follow it. Any questions before I sentence? You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Martinez, on 23 SR 0814, you got 1 DUI, I find you guilty. It's 12 months probation, 1671 is your fine. You may work that off with community service work if you wish. show your valid license to sentence enforcement. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 per month supervision fee, $25 intake fee. This is consecutive to any current sentence. 40 hours community service work, 6 hours per week, no less than 6 hours per week. Substance abuse evaluation within 90 days, and DUI school within 60 days. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision, and you have 6 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. All right, do you have any questions for me about anything before you and I part ways? No? Okay. Then I'm gonna pass you off to Mr. Phillips and have you head out to meet with sentence enforcement, okay?
I'm good.
All right, thank you. Your ward's lifted.
That was page 4 of my discount.
Okay, I did not find it, I just figured I was looking at it.
And then I put on that straight.
Yeah.
The number.
Yep, that's it. So, I knew it was in there somewhere. All right, so that takes care of that one. All right, let's come back to our trial people for today. All right, Jada Rivers. Come on up, please. All right, if you'll please raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, take your hand down, state your full name for me.
Jada Rivers.
All right, Ms. Rivers, you are here today on, oh, wonderful, thank you. Ms. Rivers, you're here on 22 SR 0002, and according to my calendar, you were on time for court today, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And when your name was called, you asked for a bench trial, is
Yes,
that correct as well?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I noticed that you did not ask for a conference or anything else, which is perfectly fine. Go ahead.
I didn't understand, I just chose the one that I felt.
This is why you and I are talking. A lot of folks get up here at this moment and then say, actually, I would like to have a quick conference. So I'm gonna have you just have a seat, and the solicitor's office will talk to you in just a minute.
Okay, they're gonna give me like what would be the best options?
Yes. Well, they're gonna give you the options. You'll decide which ones are best.
Okay.
So just remember, the best is the
Well, can I just go
definition-
ahead and go with the bench trial?
So, sure,
Yeah.
but I'll go ahead and tell you that this is your opportunity to try to resolve it. So, but if you want, what I'll do is I will go ahead and fill this out, and once you finish the conference, if you don't like what they're offering, you'll just sign this, and then I'll see you on the 18th at 9 a.m. sharp. Fair enough?
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna fill this out and give this. You just gave me her file, so I'm not gonna give it back to you. She's charged with battery fingerprints. Okay, so Clint, if her conference is unsuccessful, she just needs to sign that, and she doesn't need to be here. Okay, ma'am, if you'll just have a seat. I'm missing somebody. What's your name?
Loverman.
I have a note next to what happened to you. Come on up.
Yeah, I think we're just going to call it a trial.
Okay. So you've had your conference. It was clearly unsuccessful. Do you want a jury trial or a bench trial?
Jury.
Okay. Then you and I don't need to sign anything today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you that you are to be back here in this courtroom on Monday, March 18th at 9 a.m. sharp. For us to do the final calendar call and begin sorting out cases for trial. You need to be prepared to stay the week, but I will say, of course, that not everybody stays the whole week. We're usually pretty efficient at this, but your technical obligation is for the week.
Yes, sir.
So, do you have any questions that I can answer for you before you and I part ways?
No, sir.
I need to remind you that that you are choosing to represent yourself. Is that correct?
No, sir, I am going to be a lawyer.
Okay. So. Are you going to hire your own attorney, or are you wanting to talk about the public defender's office?
My own attorney.
Okay, so are you waiving the right to talk about applying with the public defender's office?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well then I'm not gonna worry about that at all. Do you understand that your options on the 18th are have a lawyer here or represent yourself?
Yes, sir.
Are those two options acceptable to you?
Yes, sir.
All right, then I'm gonna put that you can do that. I will tell you that if you get here and you're representing yourself and you'd like to do a bench trial, that is an acceptable option. At that time, you just let us know, but there's no pressure from me for you.
Yes, sir.
And you need to tell any attorney that you hire that there will not be a continuance and that whoever you hire needs to come in ready to try this case.
Yes, sir.
Because sometimes I'll grant those continuances, but not in this one. I'm ready to go. So, all right, any questions for me?
No, sir.
All right, so I don't need you to sign anything today. I'll have you sign it on the day of. If we need to, I'll see you back here on Monday, March 18th at 9 a.m. sharp. Don't be late. Very bad things happen to people who are late on their first day of trials.
Truck driver, I ain't allowed to be late.
Perfect. All right, well then you're free to go. I'll see you on the 18th at 9 a.m.
Thanks, sir.
I have a question next time, so. All right. Let's go off record.